If given a choice today, right now, where would you want to work from? Would you want to work from office? Would you want to work from home? Would you want to work from a beach side, or do you want to work from a hill station? Just four options. Type your answers on the chat box. If given an option right now, where would you want to work from? Okay, Sumuk says office. Sumuk, thanks for joining us. Seeing you after a long time. We have Tanvi who says hill station. Puran says office is lying. Abhiroop says home. Sunil Prabhu says office hill station. Anumita says hill station. Interesting. Not able to get out of Kolkata, it seems. Jyotsna says office. Abhishek Deshpande says Ayodhya. I won't comment on that. Gaurav says office, of course. Gaurav is a hardcore professional and I know him personally, so I won't comment on that. Mayuk says hill station. Tushar says hill station. We have Renu says work from school. Renu, I think, is more saying out of compulsion than free will, but we'll go with that right now. We have Unnati who says office. Shevi says hill station. Interesting. So already we have some thoughts on how we would want to conduct ourselves virtually. While I'm projecting my screen, the conversation, guys, that we would want to have today is around how we want to become virtually effective in this newly changed world. The world has completely changed, right? Now calendars are full, and they're more so now, given that before we used to have 2 or 3 meetings in a day and there was a lot more face-to-face informal interaction also. Now we just meet for formal interactions for a time which is already blocked on the calendar. Time is limited. As we know, the day suddenly starts. You wake up from the morning and jump into your working table or sometimes even your bed, and eventually end the day at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, depending on the situation. Competition is increasing, very importantly, because there are a lot of people who are jobless right now. I think Desi is joining us from New Jersey, would be able to tell us more, in fact, how many people are jobless. And therefore competition has become more and more, opportunities are becoming scarce, and thus it's an even more important time to be virtually effective. Business needs are growing, all businesses are transforming. The business that I work for in Cardeco has completely transformed to a more home inspection model, to a more virtual model, to a more insurance led model. And similarly, all businesses across the globe, their needs are growing, and therefore it becomes more important to be virtually effective. With no face to face, comprehension of tone can become a challenge. If I ask you a question now, again take a small pause and ask you a question: how many of you will be ready to switch on your videos right now if I ask you to? And you don't have to, you can just mention on the chat box a yes or a no. How many will switch on? I see some videos getting switched on. I see Akash is getting switched on and a few others. But how many of you say, Kiran says no? I don't know what situation Kiran is in right now. Many people say yes. Ravi says no, but Aviroop says no. And therefore, as you can understand, with face-to-face becoming almost zero, comprehension of tone has become a challenge. How is the tone and how am I going to be perceived from time to time, right? And eventually, you have to keep yourself, your internal stakeholders, and your external stakeholders motivated. Biggest one actually here, guys, is yourself. Are you able to keep yourself motivated? And then, of course, people in your company, people in your peer group, your family motivated, and external stakeholders, your customers, your clients, people you want to sell to, people you want to convince. All of this has to happen now in a virtual world. There is no more freedom that you have for a real face-to-face world. And therefore, guys, the conversation that we are going to take forward today is virtual effectiveness. Please notice a big change that we are saying today. Today, it's not going to be one way that me or the guest speaker is talking. It's more going to be two-way, where many times we would look forward to you for your inputs. And therefore, I'm telling it as a conversation. The rules remain the same. You can keep typing your questions in the chat box, and we would feel free to ask you sometimes to unmute yourselves and also talk during this session, right? I'm very, very glad, happy, and in fact proud to welcome our guest speaker today, Abhishek Deshpande. Abhishek joins us from New Jersey. It's 2:30 a.m. there, and I'm actually feeling guilty also to keep him awake at this time. Abhishek is a senior consultant at Deloitte in the risk, financial, and advisory business. He manages technology, strategy, innovation, incubation, and I don't know what all. for Deloitte. He's also known to me and many of our friend groups as a podcaster, has many famous podcasts running, and therefore how we know him. Welcome to the platform, Abhishek, and over to you for giving your part of the intro to this entire virtual world.
Thanks, Devuji. Just a clarification there. I'm a senior manager with Deloitte. So just the final tweak there. You downgraded my job a couple of designations. So I feel bad about it already, Devuji. Anyway, so thanks for inviting me, Devo. This is really a great opportunity to come and talk to your audience. I just wanted to mention something before we get started. And this is something I've written down, so I'll just read it out. I'm conducting this session in my personal capacity, and all the opinions and thoughts I'll share during the session today are mine alone, along with Deboji, and in no way should it be interpreted as my employer's opinion. Just a health check warning. I thought, like, you see it in the mutual fund ads, I should just mention something like that. So I work with Deloitte. I have been with Deloitte for about 10 years now. And this is specifically a time which has been really challenging in every company's life. As Debojit mentioned, a lot of people are out of jobs right now. There are a number of challenges coming up. I'm really looking forward to sharing some of my experiences with all of you as we go ahead. So one thing which I wanted to just talk about a bit, and Debojit and I go a long way back, and I just wanted to contrast something which was happening 10 years back with what is happening today. So if you look at the picture on the left, this is Debojit conducting a session in school. Probably some of the audience members were in school back in 2009. I'm imagining this is a fairly young audience. But back then, Debojit and I were working and volunteering with a Himachal-based non-for-profit organization, where we were working primarily on sanitation programs, which was the precursor to Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, and also working in a lot of library-related projects in schools. So this is us conducting live in-person sessions with a number of schools, including teachers, parents, and children. What has changed now is that entire medium has changed. Today, you see Devojit and me conducting these sessions on a virtual mechanism. So what we would like to discuss today is what are those techniques? What are the things which have changed? The in-person human-to-human interaction is missing in all our lives, but how we are trying to compensate it using technologies, using different skills, and different capabilities which we are inculcating in this lockdown. Okay. So that is something we'll talk about. This change is highlighted through a number of forces, but I just wanted to quickly take an opinion of everyone. These are just two graphs I have pasted. Does anyone know what these graphs represent? You can post your responses in the chat window. I know there are a lot of quizzes on the audience as well, like Sumuk, who might really like solving for this. So any responses on what these graphs might represent as it relates to this current event?
So Abhishek, Ramgugan says growth. I don't know whether he's referring to the first graph or the second graph. So guys,
I think people are still in awe of your last session where they are repeating those themes, Devojit. I think Charanya did a great job emphasizing growth. But Karan, yeah, obviously this is a growth related graph, but any other thoughts by anyone what these graphs represent?
Yeah.
Yes. Momita says increase in COVID patient. That's right. That's the first graph. Anyone can talk about the second one?
Momita, you're absolutely right. The first graph represents the increase in COVID patients across the globe, and you have hit the nail on its head. Can anyone tell us?
Hiring intake. That's a really good guess, but I don't think hiring is going up so much at that pace. I think it's going the other way around, but good guess. Data usage is really good. I am sure that sort of corresponds. Job loss is a really good. Escalating stress level. Mridu, totally agree with you. I think that is something which this graph also represents. But just to sort of cut it short here, this graph actually represents the stock price of Zoom. So the first graph this represents the number of net new patients being added on a daily basis since February. And the second graph actually represents the stock value of Zoom from February to now. Just to highlight how the evolving forces are making us work more from home, and Zoom just being a token representation of what is happening in the world, which is virtual work is becoming super important. But it's not only the work which is changing, all our habits and behaviors are rapidly changing right now. We are investing more and more in home furniture. We want our homes to be great office setups. We also are invested in online learning quite a bit. It's changed quite a bit. In-person training, learning, they have changed quite a bit. We are ordering more and more online. And those are all the changes which are happening, which we all need to adopt around. Now, I just wanted to talk about this concept. I don't know if on the chat, can someone say if they have seen this movie or not seen this movie? Anyone who has seen the movie, just want to highlight that on the chat. But this is a famous movie from, okay, not seen. It's probably slightly older. Bill Murray is someone who used to host Oscars back in the 90s. So as a kid growing up in 90s, I saw a lot of him. And this is a movie which is quite popular, but it introduces this concept of a Groundhog Day. And I just wanted to talk about this because think about Groundhog Day as a day when you wake up every day, 7 a.m. in the morning, read the newspaper, and then your entire day is exactly the same sequence of events. So it's as if you're stuck in a sort of a time loop and things are just repeating over and over again. And this entire time to me sounds like a Groundhog Day. That's what has been happening right now. And think about your entire life and a period when you are trapped in a sort of a cycle. And no matter how much you want to escape this cycle, you can't leave it. So it's like Groundhog Day. It's like Hotel California. You are stuck in this entire window right now. So we need to think about techniques, creative ways of getting out of this. Now, I just wanted to capture some of the things which I have been hearing in my peer group, in my circle, family, friends, on what exactly are the issues we are facing. So you can read through all the stuff which is up there, but I just wanted to share something which has been really deeply impactful to me. So I keep flipping between my work, household chores, as well as managing the new duties around parenting. And that is something which has really sort of been a challenge for me in this entire window. I also feel really disconnected from my team, although a lot of our team works remotely. I really miss the in-person sort of connectedness of working, sitting in the office in New Jersey or in New York City and working with them. That is something which has been a really big challenge for me in this window. Debajit, I don't know, are there a couple of challenges you want to highlight from your experience?
A lot of them, in fact. Abhishek, the ones that you have mentioned on the slide are very, very relatable. I think the biggest one I have felt is the feeling of disconnection from my team. I've been always a people's person who would want to meet my team members, party with them, get together with them in meetings, and then get the work done. This phase has been very difficult. In fact, I remember I conducted something called a family day virtually with my team members just to feel more connected. I think feeling a little lonely at times and missing human connection has been another one that I feel very close to. I have also started seeing a lot of Netflix along with all the other things that I'm doing. I think Dark is the last one that I saw and it has depressed me even more. So yeah, a lot of things have come up. I would be great for people also to mention what are they feeling. I mean, maybe just 2-3 words on what are their feelings or what are they hearing during this entire phase of virtual world. I think Riddhi mentions, I feel people are not accountable for their own work. That's a very interesting point of view, Riddhi. I'm glad you're attending it also in between your exams, because we'll cover that as we go along. No person is standing on anyone's head, and that is a beautiful challenge as per me. She also uses the word beautiful, Abhishek, when she mentions challenge. It's an interesting take. Others, do you want to mention? What are you feeling during this lockdown? Maybe a few words. Sovik says work never ever stops and it just continues. It's very, very relatable, and work tends to expand and take whatever time we have. Meenal says, I guess response time has increased. Okay, that's interesting. Congratulations on the job change again, Meenal. You think even in your new job, the response time is increased. Jyotsna says too much time on meetings. Okay, Jyotsna never liked meetings, so I can understand that. Sneha says stressed out due to long hours of virtual classes. Okay, interesting. Sneha seems to be a student, and if our videos are off, then still the stress is happening. We can take that up, Abhishek, maybe. Tanamika says connectivity between people decreases. Tanvi says more time to focus on what is actually important. That's a positive one, Tanvi. Very, very interesting to see that. Maybe last one or two, Manpreet says no monitoring. So work is going on trust. Yeah, yeah, interesting one. We'll cover that. So while you keep typing, I would want to open up to you. What do we want to cover today? So Abhishek and I will talk on these four themes today on how can you become virtually effective, guys. And we would love to have you take back these themes with you. The first thing that we want to talk about is building a virtual first mindset. I don't know how many of you attended the growth mindset session last week, but we spoke about the mind conditioning, that it's very important that we are conditioned to what is going to happen with us. The virtual mindset or virtual effectiveness is also built around whether you're ready for it, whether you know what to expect and you're not getting surprised every day. So the first part will be about building a virtual mindset. That's the first B. The second one will be about balancing in this new world. So obviously there is a personal life, there is a professional life, and there is no clear demarcation anymore. Your kids could be dancing around the dining table while you are having a most important client call with a global partner, right? Your parents might be asking for dinner or looking to start dinner while you have to finish another 2.5 hour call with another important internal stakeholder. So balancing in personal and professional life becomes a very, very important part. We'll spend a little time on that. Succeeding, I think that's the heart of what Abhishek and I will present today. It's about succeeding in the virtual world. Succeeding will also consider a lot of engaging. How do we engage our internal and external stakeholders? And lastly, I have put it in with my personal interest, exploring. I think you will not get better time than exploring your passion and potential and interest during this time. And maybe we'll spend the last 5 minutes on that. So these are the four broad themes that we would want to cover today in terms of building, balancing, succeeding, and exploring. Starting with the first one, I think before Abhishek talks exactly about how he has built or how he has built a virtual mindset and suggests one, I think I would want to say before building a virtual mindset, it's important that you build a positive mindset. A lot of things are uncertain right now. 39% people have lost their jobs. I mean, across the globe, there are even more people who have faced salary cuts. There are so many people, millions of people who have gone through the COVID pandemic themselves. And therefore, in these uncertain times, it's very, very important to be positive. How do you remain positive? One is to have the faith that this too shall pass, and therefore have the gratitude to say that I am okay, I have a job, my family members are okay, we are able to see every day with a fresh perspective. That's enough. And therefore look at the things that are happening well. I think in season 1 in our mindfulness session we covered it for half an hour, where gratitude becomes a very, very important practice in building a virtual mindset, that this is how it is. Second is very importantly, I think, is having an engaging day with finite outcomes. That is when you wake up in the morning, you look forward to the day. Very importantly, if you wake up in the morning and purpose, it doesn't help. You feel, oh God, it's another day like the Groundhog Day that Abhishek was talking about. But if you have a purpose to accomplish on that day, then that day becomes even more meaningful. So an engaging day with positive outcome becomes very important. Abhishek, how do you see it?
So I actually believe, Debojit, I completely agree with all the points you mentioned. I personally believe it's very critical to have a new daily routine, especially during this window, because you are spending your entire day in the home right now. Earlier, there was this routine you had. I'll like take a coffee, I'll drive back to work, I'll listen to a podcast, I'll listen to music in the morning. Now my entire routine needs to change. Okay. So I just want to see, are there any changes which the audience has done to their routines? And if you can just type in your responses on the chat, we can talk about that. There's a comic strip here which talks about a routine of an Adarsh Palak. Now, contrary to popular opinion, this is not representing Narendra Modi's childhood. This is just some comic strip which is being distributed online. But WhatsApp, it gets forwarded as Narendra Modi's childhood. So I won't concur with that. I think Shiva has put something. Saturday routine is because he has crack sessions. Shutting down my gadgets after 7 p.m. Riddhi, that's an excellent point. It's very good to have some cutoff time. It's very important to decompress, close things around. In fact, it's also good to just move away from your workspace. If you have set up a workspace, move away from it. Planning the whole day in advance. Yes, Jyotsna, that is really good. Having like sort of an agenda of your day marked out at the beginning of day. Sumukh has restarted reading habit, which is an excellent point. We'll touch upon this. Reading is really good. And Debojit, you should also start reading more and stop watching Netflix. Uh, started learning and designing commerce website. That's an excellent thing, Prashant, like something really good to pick up. Tanvi has mentioned something good, which I have stopped doing. I have stopped exercising and she is doing jogging. That's really good. Abhiroop mentioned reading a lot of books on consciousness and self-development. That's a really good habit. And Abhiroop, I should learn from you how to read those books because those are a bit boring for me personally. But Manoj is doing yoga. Puran is working on an organic farm. That is really interesting. Also good given there was a shortage of veggies and groceries. So this is like really interesting stuff. All of you are doing something really good. And this is something which everyone needs to do. Inculcate a new routine and work through the day. Yeah.
I want to ask you here, sorry to interrupt, that you have also been a very, very active podcaster. Right from our college days, I've seen you very active in extracurriculars also, along with the regular curriculum. And there was no COVID at that time. How do you think the introduction of these things help your daily routine? I think the point is great. We need to bring in some innovative, unique things in our daily routine. But given that you have always had it, how does it impact your daily routine?
So the thing is, I have always had it, but this window has been special because I just get a couple of months back. So the routine entirely has adjust around that, right? So I need to program all those things. Now, some people may not naturally be more extracurricular oriented, more extroverted, etc. Right? So they need to find their own of expression, right? For me, just find an outlet for them now, right? So for me, cricket was an interesting thing. Talking was an interesting thing, obviously. So last year we just started a podcast on cricket. So those can be few things you can sort of use as inspiration to just channel off, take off some things. If you want to move to the next one, Devo. So I just wanted to talk about one of the routines I have picked up. So I'm just drinking. Sorry if I've been bothering you by drinking something, but I'm just having coffee. There is nothing else here. I have started this new habit of brewing coffee. So I have the same setup at home. I just pasted a picture here. But there's something which sort of keeps me engaged through the day. Every day at 2:30 or 3 p.m., I know it's my coffee brewing time. So I've blocked some time off my calendar. I have 2 or 3 different setups. I have different grinds. I really get invested in brewing coffee. And you will think it is stupid, but I get a kick from both the caffeine as well as the new routine I have built of brewing coffee, right? Now, it might sound very trivial. It might sound very narrow, but I think all good habits need to be start from something trivial and then you can become an expert and in that niche over time, right? So anything new is something really good. So just wanted to recap all of this. I think it's just want to touch upon some of the points Devo touched upon earlier. So it's very important to invest in your support system at this time. Be extremely grateful that you're maintaining good health, your job, everyone around you is happy and safe. Have faith. I'm sure this will get over soon very quickly. By February or March, we'll probably have shots in our arms with vaccine. I'm really hopeful of that. And Akshay then are right around the corner, I feel. Build new and engaging routines, as I stressed upon. And I think all of this will help you learn something new during the lockdown and help you stay much more focused on your work. Okay. Yep. Debo, let's move on to the next section then.
Yeah. So therefore, while I get to the second section, which is about balancing, I have put two visuals that are a very, very integral part of our lives right now. I have a pet called Waffle, and most of the time, even when I'm doing the crack sessions, I'm actually patting him below the table. Also, obviously, a lot of you are living with very, very young kids, and many of you are living in a joint family where there are 10, 15 members in a family, which have elder people, which have very young kids. And therefore, there are a lot of things happening together. I think Geetika says relatable because I know she has 2 kids who must be as wonderful as we can imagine, but also very difficult to manage with all the work that we have. Abhishek, you have a newborn kid that you have
Yeah.
been talking about. So, yeah. You want to talk about it, Abhishek? How life has changed in
So
the last two
actually,
months?
a newborn is actually easier to handle from what I have been told, because a newborn generally just eats, sleeps, and goes through the daily routine of diaper changes, right? So there is not much more around the activities, but obviously it's a huge change. Here we have to do all our household chores and take care of a lot of things. The thing which I have noticed from a lot of my peers has been managing kids' education, because that's an added responsibility, right? So I have seen like few of my peers being extremely creative in terms of blocking time slots during the day, so they can give focused attention to their kids, right? Or to their parents whom they are staying with. And one of the things which is really good about this entire period is, although we are all stuck in houses, like this is a great opportunity to further bond with your family, right? In our daily routine, we stay 12, 14 hours away from our family in offices, right? Where we are spending time with our teams, but we don't really get to spend that much time with family. So I think let's look at it as a positive thing, as an opportunity to build more strong relationships, right? And obviously, people are going through other challenges as well. Like people are wearing all kinds of stuff on calls. Like, look at the way you have dressed up, Devajit. You are like properly dressed up for this call today. And that is something all of us can adopt, right? I think even dressing up every day, those kind of things are helping just working from home. And I think all these experiences help us create a better personal life and balance it with a professional life. And I think those things are something we need to all
Abhishek, are
inculcate.
you saying that it makes a difference if you are dressed
Mm-hmm.
formally for certain meetings? Because I have faced this a lot in meetings where I see people in their t-shirts, and I even remember sometimes people coming in their inner wear, and then I'm telling them you can put on a t-shirt in some of the meetings. And this is very, very practical that's happening. When you ask them to switch their videos on, you get more shocked than they. So,
Yeah,
so do you think it matters that just being in the professional attire might make it a little more professional and serious for
I
everyone?
completely agree. Yeah, I think being in a professional attire puts you in a certain frame of mind, which is abstracted away from your house, right? So you don't sit in your house like this, right? So if you put all those attire, you feel you are away from your house in a certain way. And actually, that's not a bad thing. Also, making sure you are putting the video on and putting the mic off, especially when you're going to the restroom. I have been on a call where someone has flushed, right? And it's extremely embarrassing because you get to know who has flushed, right? If 9 out of 10 people are muted, you know who was the person who was flushing. So those are things we all need to take care of, although those are lighter moments in this time of lockdown and uncertainty, but just wanted to touch upon those.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think there was a question from Momita. Can you suggest something who are not good at anything? Momita, I'm sure you are good at something. I think you mentioned you are taking up yoga or website design. So, and obviously there is a skill for everyone in life, right? Shiva just mentioned which is best, expert or all rounder. Um, I think it's up to you, right? You can be a generalist, you can be a specialist. I think there is space for both. There is space for Hardik Pandya and the team, and there is also space for Devajit, who is an expert batsman right now in the
Rohit
team.
Sharma, maybe.
Yeah, Talent Sharma in the team. So there is like space for both kinds of people in each team and in each setup, right? Um, yeah, let's move ahead, Devo.
Yeah. So here is a poll that we would want to ask all of you to answer. It's a very simple question. The question poll will also appear on your screen. Yeah, we can see the poll now. What is your biggest challenge, therefore? This is part of the balancing theme that we are asking you. First is taking care of your loved ones, kids, parents, pets, or it could be anyone. Second is cooking and cleaning. I think in India, the maids are back in most places. But I think where Desi is sitting, they have never been made. So yeah, that's another option. The third is staying active, escaping laziness and lethargy. I think Jyotsna was agreeing on the chat box that people have grown fat. Shiva mentioned that, and therefore lethargy and laziness has come up on top. And I have no, and it could be I have no challenges. Working virtually is awesome. I mean, some people are loving it. I have some friends who are saying that great, I don't have to waste time going to office, at least in India where traffic is a pain, not so much in the western part of the world. If there are others, you can mention in the chat box. Yeah, 45% people have voted already. Quickly, guys, if you can vote, then I can let you know what everyone thinks. I have voted myself also. So 55% people now who have already voted. You can see the questions on the screen. You just have to vote, and I will wait for maybe another 15% vote. 65% people. Astha in the meantime mentions to take care of myself and my younger brother. That's an interesting one. Vishal in others says dogs barking on the street. That's, I think, a very rampant problem in India, Abhishek, where there are dogs barking outside almost 1/3 of Indian homes. And they are also very angry when they are barking. Okay, I mean, they take the fight from one set to another. Can we have the results on screen? Yeah, we have about 75% people now.
I
Okay.
think this is surprising.
48% people, Abhishek, say that my biggest challenge is staying active, escaping laziness and lethargy. Now,
I agree.
uh, I somehow can't completely relate, and that's the beauty of this poll. I could, I think, relate more to the other options, but very interesting. Staying active. I mean, physically staying active, I think, is definitely a challenge. You're constantly sitting at one place. Mentally staying active is also a challenge. You just know every day, 10 o'clock, that daily sales call, 12 o'clock, that client call, 5 o'clock, my review call, etc. What are your opinion on the poll results, Abhishek?
I was actually surprised. I thought it would be number two, cooking and cleaning, because that seems to be obvious. But I think people have got around that now, and YouTube channels are definitely helping with that. But I think number three, staying active, escaping laziness and lethargy, maybe not a challenge for us, Devajit, given we are inherently lazy people. But I'm sure it's a huge challenge for a number of people, especially because there is like a complete sort of this claustrophobic surrounding around you and bubble around you. You can't go anywhere. You can't go out and walk around, meet your friends. There are so many restrictions placed. I'm sure this is a huge challenge. So again, just a way to sort of overcome something like this. This is a trick which we have been trying recently. We have just placed a few books around our home, right? So if you have 10 minutes in the day, rather than sort of opening Netflix or opening YouTube or wasting our time online, just pick up a book and read it for 10 minutes, right? So we have a bunch of books which we have got from the library here. We've just placed it across the room. And especially I haven't been in a mindset to read a lot. So what I've done is I've replaced books with comics and graphic novels. So I just read this graphic novel called Persepolis. Excellent book. Would recommend it to everyone. It's on Iranian Revolution in 1979. And I've just replaced it with graphic novels because they're lighter to read and I can just read it for 10 minutes and disconnect. So reading is something we can just inculcate as a habit. Just an example, Sanjukta or Momita was someone was mentioning that they don't have an active interest. Why don't you consider trying something like this? So just wanted to
In fact,
mention it on
Vishal says he now listens to podcasts while doing vessels. Earlier used to do them while traveling. Very interesting one. Abhishek, maybe you can forward your link also to Vishal.
Sure, I'll do that. Yeah.
Yeah. Riddhi says we have become chefs. This is a backup for us when companies don't work in our favor. I think all of us have started cooking. I had never cooked anything much other than Maggie before, but now I think I've cooked a lot of dishes myself also. Abhiroop is suggesting power of your subconscious mind. That's a serious one, but I've read it. Very, very insightful book. So yes, a lot of these habits help in terms of even balancing your personal and professional life and helps you take that break. That 10-minute that Abhishek or Desi is talking about is more about the break you're taking from that routine, that groundhog day that we all are talking about. So yeah.
So just to recap what our discussed here quickly and move on to the next, before we move on to the next section, it's very critical to balance your personal, professional life. We did discuss a lot of tips around it. Couple of points which I really like to stress upon. We should all learn to disconnect. I think someone in the chat also mentioned shut down all your devices by 7 p.m., right? Spend time with your family, this is a blessing of sorts in some way. You are saving a lot of time in commute. You are saving a lot of times in other things. Just use it with your family. Eat on time, sleep on time. Try to escape that lethargy and stay happy through this entire window and stay healthy. So I think that's something as a takeaway we'll take from this section. Debo, if you want to move ahead to the most important and critical section of our discussion.
Yeah. So here, guys, before we get into this, I wanted to take this example. I'm sure all of you know the person on screen, right? If maybe the first one or two people can mention the name of the person. And along with that, if you can also mention, why did we all know him? What was his biggest USP as a leader? Does anyone remember? I know he's a little of the 90s generation people, and Sumuk beautifully mentions with the dots in between his name. Sumuk like that. We like that creativity. Vishal says poetry. Astha mentions a strange name of his surname, but yeah, Unnati says Atul Vihari. I am definitely, this is the 2020th kids. But why I'm taking this moment is before going into the third segment, which is about succeeding in the virtual world or engaging in the virtual world. This guy, as we all know, was one of the most effective prime ministers of our country. I said one of the most, I'm very conscious. And took on an opportunity in 1996 when the world was introducing video interviews for the first time, or live video telecast for the first time. As some of you rightly mentioned, and also mentioned, he was famous for the pause, right? While he would speak, he would actually take a pause, and people would wait for him to sometimes say the next sentence, sometimes say the next word. And in 1996, he live telecasted from Lok Sabha, took this opportunity when the world was transitioning from a TV Doordarshan kind of a world to a live telecast world. Now, so many things are live. And therefore, I would want to say this that we are going through right now, guys, is about a similar transition. How many of us are able to succeed by taking hold of this moment becomes very, very important. And great stalwarts have done it in the past. And thus this example which came to our mind. And therefore, I would want to introduce this concept and then invite Abhishek also to talk about it. See, most of the things, most of the meetings we attend, most of the stakeholder discussions we attend mainly goes through three phases, right? Whether it's internal or external, it doesn't matter. First is preparation. You will have to prepare for that particular discussion, a meeting or whatever that's coming up, right? Before also we had preparation, now also we have preparation. Just that before maybe the preparation was a lot more because there were a lot of things that you need to take care. You need to go to their office, they would come to your office, or maybe even internally you would have to call people together at one place at one time. Are their schedules, calendars free? Because physically they have to travel planning, etc. Right? Now how preparation has changed, I'll wait for that, but it has gone a little lesser because you know you're going to sit in the same table at home and then conduct that meeting. Second part is managing. Now managing has definitely gone up in the scale of things. Before also there was managing, but you know, once everyone is in the same room, you don't have to spend too much time in calling your IT guy to say, "Yaar, projector nahi chal raha, can you switch that on?" A lot of times I have seen that happening in meetings, but there was not too much of managing. But now managing has gone up and we'll talk about that. The third part, which is the most interesting part, is feedback. I think before also it used to happen. Feedback is more debriefing or understanding what has gone right, what has gone wrong, the MOM, and how do we take it forward from here. This has gone up significantly in the blended and virtual times. Abhishek, you want to talk about this part?
Sure. I will just talk about a couple of things and touch upon a few of the points which Debojit highlighted here. But just to mention one thing, all the graphs there were just relative importance. There is no scientific study to back that. This is just what Debojit and I felt in our discussion, just to give it some relative importance. Okay, so I'll just touch upon a few of these things. Prep is something in a real in-person meeting, very different from a virtual meeting. You need to prepare technologically also very well. Now, before doing the session, and I went in, tested our Zoom links, tested our slide shows, had a backup plan in case this goes down. How do we connect cell phone? All those things are extremely important. When should you mute? How should you engage your audience? All those things should be planned out. Probably you don't pay attention to that much detail when you're doing an in-person meeting. You just walk in and start delivering, right? As it relates to managing and facilitating a meeting, now few things are extremely different. I would say that I have felt that it's much more of a personal effort in managing a meeting as compared to in preparing for a meeting. And that is specifically because of a multitude of reasons. But one of the things is that you don't know or you can't gauge from the audience how your session is going, right? So right now we have been trying to engage you guys through polling, through kind of questioning, ordering our questioning in a certain manner. But it's sometimes difficult to do that. It's easy to do that in person. It's very difficult to do that effectively virtually. Like I'm sure out of 92, probably 15 people are sleeping right now, still just waking up on a Saturday, but I can't know that, right? So that is something very difficult to manage. And obviously we can't expect 100% effectiveness in doing it, but we can try, right? Feedback, again, it needs to be important. It needs to be on behavioral outcomes. It needs to be on behavior. So I need to take feedback from you guys, and polls and questions are a way of doing it, right? And after the session, we are looking forward to your comments, quick Q&A, and that is feedback from your end. All the feedback, just to maintain a professional level of candor, needs to be very direct, but it doesn't need to attack anyone as a person, right? And that ends up happening sometimes. You are more conscious when the person is in front of you. It may not be conscious decision when you are doing it virtually, right? And there have been a lot of cases of people sort of making comments virtually because that becomes a very casual window or a casual outlet for you, right? In-person professional office setup is obviously more formal. Chat and these tools have been historically used in a casual environment and they become casual. So do maintain candor, do maintain candidness, but do it professionally. Okay.
Yeah,
I just wanted to stress upon those points.
Yeah. Here I would want to add, guys, for all of you, there's a very, very interesting way of questioning that we found out when we were preparing for the session called the Socrates way of questioning. Now, I would urge all of you to go and read about it also. This mentions that you are not directing anyone for certain actions, but you are following a certain methodology of conducting a meeting or asking questions, which is about clarifying, which is about challenging assumptions, which is about examining the evidence or the assumptions that people are putting in front of you, exploring perspectives. I think in a virtual meeting, a lot of times we feel if we are talking that we know the answer and therefore we are talking, but very rarely that's the truth. If you are exploring perspectives of people around you, it becomes a very, very meeting that happens. Considering implications also is very important. Whatever you are deciding together and questioning the questions that's relatable to challenging the assumptions. It is also advisable sometimes to ask one or two questions in the beginning of the session itself, just to check whether people, whoever has joined, definitely also mentally there with you or not. See, even in a physical classroom, teachers in our school days used to do that. They would come and ask a question in the beginning, but sometimes we miss to do that even in virtual meetings. And we join so many meetings where we are just a passive listener. I have gone up and started cooking also sometimes during some of those meetings initially, but now over time I've realized that maybe if I'm there physically in the meeting, then I should be there mentally also. But as the person who is conducting the meeting, sometimes it's important to follow the Socrates way, and please read about it in your free time. Also, downloading Zoom backgrounds, I think that works well. Zoom background is just a way of saying it, but there are various ways by which you can make it interesting. I think Abhishek and I tried a trailer for this particular session. If some of you had seen it, if you can just mention a yes or a no, the trailer of this session that we had made. Now that took 3 different softwares for us to make. It took FaceTime, it took a Zoom link, it took an audio link that we had, and we in fact even added our emojis to it, and eventually could pull off by merging 4 different platforms. Now that's just more engagement. I'm again putting it as an example rather than anything else. You have to break the clutter, and you can't assume that people will keep taking the same things because you're linked to them professionally or sometimes even personally. And that's about managing the virtual platform and thus the virtual effectiveness. So here I would also want to add some key takeaways that should always happen in your meetings. First is always agree at the end of the meeting on certain clear outcomes. If you don't agree, then people will leave with separate mindsets when they're finishing the meeting. So it's important to agree to a single outcome. If the outcome has not been agreed upon, then have a next meeting, maybe 2 days, 5 days, 1 week later. But unless you agree to an outcome, don't finish the meeting. The smiles, the nods, the eye expressions are missing in a virtual meeting because a lot of times the videos are off. So unless people say I agree or write on the chat box I agree, try and not end the meeting. Second is trust your team members. I think Riddhi in the beginning was saying that people have a free will, and therefore we don't know whether they are actually working or not. A lot of managers in the current business scenario are suffering from this syndrome where they feel that their team members may not be working their heart out. In fact, many team members also feel that their managers are having a great time. They're giving all the work to us and they're doing nothing. So very important part, guys, is to trust that your team members and your managers are working their best and work under that assumption, right? And there's a very famous theory that says that if you keep assuming something over a period of 7 to 21 days, that actually starts happening also. So just in case it isn't happening, just your assumption will make a lot of difference. Second is you have to talk early and talk often. In a virtual meeting, if you are just observing, unless you are very famous already, people will start ignoring you after a point of time. So important to talk early during the meeting and talk often so that people know that you have an opinion and you are present in that meeting. Don't desperately class participate, but it's important to talk. Also, it's important to avoid those very obvious expressions like, am I on mute? Sorry, I was on mute. Is my screen visible? Can you see me? Am I visible? And etc. 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 Right? I discovered a new one yesterday. Sorry, I joined the wrong call after the person came in 10 minutes late. So it's very important to talk early and talk often, but avoid the very normal expressions. Fourth is take a break. Very important. I think I have felt guilty in the last 6 months, even while having lunch. And it feels that I don't know, is this allowed? I mean, you're taking a break and talking on phone. Although at office, you might be doing it for 2-3 hours a day. While you're taking a break for lunch, you're taking sutta breaks, you're taking water cooler breaks, etc. So taking a break is important. Very cut off even during the day for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and do what you think is great. This one is more for managers. It's important to have a rewarding culture even during the virtual time. If the organization right now is not rewarding people who are doing well, then it's in a way saying that we are not even able to reward people because we think that the times are different, therefore we would operate differently. And Abhishek, I was just saying his comment. I agree, smoking is injurious to health, and we are not saying that you should do it. And last is constantly questioning is important in these virtual meetings. Don't become a pest that you're questioning so much that people start avoiding you, but at least when you have a doubt, question. A lot of people think my video is off, people are saying something, I'll ask later. But if you ask later, you'll understand also later, and you can't deliver from the moment the meeting ends. And therefore, questioning becomes a very, very important part. So, guys, this is how we wanted to kind of summarize. Abhishek, if you want to summarize for all of us.
Sure. So, Debajit ran us through a lot of points. Just wanted to stress upon one of the things which he talked about, which is when we are working virtually, it's important that we focus on the tasks at hand and the processes, right? And not just like the person, their behavior, their role, etc. So like this is a technique which has been used by the Indian IT industry over a number of years, and we have perfected it. That we have basically taken a process of developing software, delivering work internationally, and condensed it into a process. Now, I know that that takes away the human touch out of an interaction, but sometimes, especially in this window, it's very important that we focus on the process also, apart from the human being, right? Also, one interesting concept which Debajit and I came across in an HBR paper was that of a virtual water cooler. Now, water cooler moments are now, actually there are no water coolers. I don't think in offices anymore. Everyone just like is either like, yeah, I think the new age water coolers do exist, but it's just a place where people meet, greet each other, have a chat. And I think it's important that we are using some of the technologies at our disposal right now to just connect with our peers and have these virtual coffee sessions, virtual happy hours, virtual cocktail sessions. Now, in my personal experience, they haven't worked really well, but I'm sure we are figuring out different ways to come up with a technique to make sure it works better. Okay. So I just wanted to touch upon those two as we move forward. And Devajit, as I was thinking, given we have, I think, few minutes left on the session, and we did discuss a lot of passions from everyone, maybe we just quickly cover this and move on to Q&A. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. So as Abhishek rightly mentioned, the last part, guys, which is something we spoke, is about exploring. Exploring who you are is a very important part of this times that are going on, and I'm going to bet all of you that you're going to miss this time when this gets over. And as Abhishek said, you're going to get the vaccine shot. After that, you might start missing the time that has just gone by. So spending time with friends and peer, trying something new. It could be meditation, yoga. We have tried crack platform, which has purely come out of the hobby and passion and the need for skills. So something similar could be what you're looking at, doing what you love, and therefore adding it to your entire portfolio, which is about experimenting, trying that idea that has always been there, to eventually developing something that really is on the ground. And who knows, maybe you're going to build something which is very unique. A lot of great businesses in the past have come up from these unique times, and maybe you can develop an expertise and learn something new, etc. So yeah, this is where we want to end.
And just Devajit, I wanted to touch upon one of the points in the last slide. I think some form of obsession about a new habit which you are developing is not bad at all. Like I talked about the coffee thing, so sort of an obsession. The obsession shouldn't be like as Shah Rukh Khan had in Dar movie for Kiran's character. It should be much lesser than that. But any form of obsession is not bad. You should be obsessed to do something creative, and some form of obsession will probably drive you to become a niche expert in that area. So that is something which I came across as a takeaway and thought I would share it with all of you. Debojit's favorite movie is Dar, and he really likes the songs also. So maybe another time for that.
So we want to end here, guys, on our talk part, and would now start taking up questions from all of you. I think Sneha, let maybe that could be the first question that we would want to take. Sneha, you can unmute yourself and ask the question yourself also. I would love to answer. Yeah, you can go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hi Devajit, hi Abhishek. It's like when we are working on Zoom, we feel it's long hours. We are just sitting in our respective houses, and it's feel like we are taking many hours, like some 8 hours are we are having for a like small project, maybe a small project of marketing or something. But we are just making a PPT. So it takes 9 hours instead of just 3 hours. We feel like that. So how to work efficiently? And these classes, we are classes from 8:30 in the morning till sometimes 5 p.m. So it feels so, we feel so stressed out. So how to be efficient in this virtual world actually?
So David, I can take this up first and you can add on if you have any thoughts as well. Does that work?
Yeah.
So Sneha, a couple of things which I have tried out personally, and I can just share those to each its own, and this different trick might work for you. But I try to see, and at least I have that freedom of taking a walk outside my home here. I don't know where you are staying right now, and is that a possibility in your apartment? But I try to take some of my Zoom calls while walking around. So rather than sort of being in front of my desk all through the day, especially on calls where I don't need to take action or take notes or directly send people few things, I'll just take a walk around while taking that call. So it helps me refresh my mind a bit and it helps me disconnect a bit on the monotonity of the day. Debujit, I don't know whether you have any
Yeah, so I
thoughts
would
around
take up
it.
a different angle. Sneha, I think it helps to know whom you are meeting with before the call. Uh, and by no, I don't mean just the name, but their hobbies, their interests. Why are they coming to attend this call? What do they want to take away from this call? If you can have telephonic chats before the calls are always a lot more engaging, especially if it's an important call for you or an important meeting or discussion for you. So the engagement platforms are still there. You can just call up people, talk to them. You don't have to get to every decision in the meeting itself. In fact, yeah, if it is for classes or even for meetings, very rarely does something get achieved during that call. Or I'm talking from a decision perspective, it always happens before or after, where people
Yeah.
bond and then come up. So it's very, very highly advisable to connect before and after also. That would
Yeah.
help to drive more high output calls.
Yeah. And just wanted to share one more thing, Sneha. You just mentioned 8-hour meeting. So I just had a 6-hour working session last week. And one of the things that team and us we tried out was we shared a bunch of we asked each other to do Zoom backgrounds based on our favorite fantasy movie. So I was flipping through Lord of the Rings. Someone else was flipping through Star Wars. Every 15 minutes, everyone had to change their background. So every half an hour, 45 minutes, people would just want a break, right? So we'll end up discussing Zoom backgrounds and our stories of the movie and all. So you'll get that couple of minutes of outlet between a meeting, which might be helpful for long sessions.
Yeah. So Riddhi asks, I think she's traveling also, so I'm not asking her to unmute. Abhishek, you might want to answer that. Is it okay to say I don't work after this time to maybe my employers or my professors?
I think it's a function of your personal equation with your boss. If your boss is like Devojit, then he'll obviously allow it. But also, I think it's important that you set expectations. So, if I know there are cultural restrictions around this and everyone is in a different position, but if you have set expectations that you can only work between 9 to 6 and between 3 and 5 p.m. you are going to take a break, but you will compensate for that work between 6 and 8. That is something which can be done. Obviously, this is all based on your personal equation, the time you have spent in the organization, and a number of factors. So we can't answer that directly, but if there is a way to doing this, it's through having an honest conversation with your superiors and also setting some expectations. I'm sure everyone understands this is a challenging time and they can give you a couple of hours off in between on a day, etc. So that is something you need to work yourself on. I would just say have an honest, candid conversation with your superiors, and that should be the first step in the direction.
Yeah, well answered, Abhishek. Chaitali, if you want to unmute and ask your question, you mentioned about music being your passion and how to manage. Please go ahead and unmute if you can.
Actually, I'm just trying my level best to input music in some other areas around entire work, household as well as teaching, but I'm not getting to cope up that one. It's a big challenge for me. I don't know how will I do that one. I'm waiting and waiting. That's the thing only I wanted to say.
Interesting. Abhishek, I'll take this. I think, Chaitali, from what you said, I gathered that you are a teacher. And I think teaching is one profession that has gone up manifolds given the number of virtual online classes that are happening. My goodness. I have two nephews who I think are all day stuck to their laptop screens, and they keep telling us that they're going through school sessions. I understand the point that that work life has become more hectic than before. But the important part, Chaitali, you have to understand is you don't have to go to school and come back anymore. So that is maybe 1.5 hours that you are saving that you will have to snatch,
That's the thing.
that you will have to snatch from your personal routine or personal for your personal calendar.
Yeah, every day I'm trying, but somehow I'm being failure, and the next day again I'm trying. Few time I'm giving, I'm getting, but I'm very much hungry of getting music. But that much time I can't. But I will. I am trying my level best. Let me see.
Got it. One thing I want to highlight to all, not only Chaitali in this, is not many people are taking leaves these days. And maybe that's my personal experience. I don't know how the global data suggests. It's absolutely okay to take leaves also, guys, even during the pandemic. So you still continue to have those 28, 32, 36 leave that your organization gives. It's true even now. And please switch off some days and say that I don't want to work today. And if you want to go ahead with an excuse, depending on the nature of your boss or the reality, that's up to you. But sometimes take breaks. And
Okay, thank you for this one.
yeah, yeah,
Oh, I have to take break.
yeah, right. Yeah, thanks, Chaitali. Maybe Tanvi mentions, okay, Puran says, what are the signs mean where we have to work to become a good presenter or be an active virtual participant? So if there are any signs and signals of being a good virtual participant, Abhishek, you have any thoughts on this?
I would say that participate, don't over participate. Back in college, we used to have something called DCP or desperate class participation. So don't engage in that. Like desperate class participation in person might be irritating, but on virtual platforms, those people can be called trolls as well, right? So we participate in a controlled manner, like ask questions at the right time. Only you genuinely have a question. Make sure you are nudging the facilitator and making sure that he or she is also delivering it effectively, right? So nudge the participants, give them proper feedback on time. And I think all those items are something we can consider to become more effective. I think Kirti had a question, Debo, if you want to cover that before we consider closing the
Sure,
discussion.
and someone whose name is not mentioned also has a Kirti, you want to first unmute and ask? I think that was more an expression than a question. Kirti, you want to go
Yeah,
ahead?
sure.
Yeah.
Hi, Debojit. Hi, Abhishek. So yeah, that was an expression. So maybe sometimes, there are two things that are simultaneously happening. One is that, we are expected to work, like if I give latest example was Janmashtami or Eid, that, okay, we are at home only, we can attend 1 hour call or we can do some work is one thing very true and fro happening. And the other is that, a lot of, then again on the other side, being a team manager, I see a lot of fake to and fro also happening. So people may share a schedule with me and tell me, like Abhishek was talking about calendarizing, but see, of course I cannot micromanage everything, but I get a shock sometimes when I crunch the data that, oh, a lot of calendarizing happened, but nothing actually happened. So how do I cope up with this? That is my biggest struggle these days. I'm really troubled with this.
Debo, I don't know whether you want to take that up.
Yeah. So Kirti, I know your profession. Thanks for joining, and I understand what you're talking about. I think I agree with you. There are at least 1/3 of the meetings which genuinely don't have an outcome these days, but people come on the platform, discuss something, and then nothing happens. And therefore, in one of the slides, we were talking about agreeing on an outcome every time we finish the meeting and having a clear timeline for that outcome, and maybe calendarizing the outcome than calendarizing the next meeting, that this is what is expected, and you'll get a reminder 1 week later that this is what is expected of me, of A, of B, of C. So that becomes important. Also, we don't say no to virtual meetings. One thing that I've seen is a lot, either we don't attend it without mentioning anything, or we attend it, put our videos off, and just listen. It's important that people start saying no also, saying that I'm not relevant for this meeting, maybe I don't want to attend, or maybe it's too early to do this meeting, I don't want to attend. Saying no will also increase the relevance of meetings over a period of time. So these are some things that come to my mind as you asked.
Thanks, Debojit.
So yeah, I think Sanjukta, maybe last one. Abhishek, you mentioned on the chat box. Sanjukta, you want to unmute and ask? That's the last question for the day.
Actually, I wanted to ask, now I'm actually a student, so how would I prepare myself that I can bring myself in the outer world and interact with it?
Oh, this is the other way around, like when things open up, Sanjukta?
Yeah, actually, I get puzzled when I meet peoples and the social platform. I get stuff nervous and all. So I want to know about how to present myself.
Okay. Debo, do you want to cover this? I think you will be a more effective coach on this matter.
No, I think it's a whole new topic, and we can do a full
Yeah.
session on this, Sanjukta. But just to keep it short, forget that anyone has any expectations on you from you. One thing that makes us puzzled even more, because we feel people are watching, people are judging, people are
Yeah,
expecting.
yeah,
Stop
that's what
thinking
I get.
that. Think you're talking to a mirror, talking to a wall. Everyone is anyway useless. You were born alone, you're going to die alone. Becomes a little philosophic. But anyone else is not going to play any role in your life more than what yourself is going to play in your life. So once you understand that, or whether you call it giving a lot of importance or giving zero importance, however you want to see it, just know that if you are confident, you can face anyone. And it doesn't matter who is in front of you. You know what you're going to talk about, who you are, and therefore should go with the best confidence.
Thank you. Thanks
So
for
great, guys. Thank you. Thanks for joining. Maybe one or two questions more. We will, as always, answer it on our LinkedIn page. Abhishek and I will both feel happy and keep asking questions there. Within an hour of the session, we'll post the thank you note there, and you can keep asking your questions there. Abhishek, fantastic to have you. I not only enjoyed the
Sure,
1 hour
Debo.
right now, not only the 1 hour right now, but the entire 1 week preparation that both of us had. It reminded me of all the great days we have had together. And
I agree.
I think
Completely
connecting.
agree. And
Yeah.
yeah, and I just wanted to mention thanks to everyone for listening in and dialing in. Would be great to have your feedback as well on things we could have covered in more detail. So please feel free to leave it on the LinkedIn page of Cracked and share your thoughts there on how we could have improved this session as well. So that Debojit and his team can incorporate it for the subsequent sessions going forward.
Yeah, even in the thank you email, we'll send you the YouTube channel link where we will upload the recording of this session, and we'll also have a poll which will be the feedback that Abhishek is talking about. So please take that so that we know how to make it better and better. Before I leave, as always, wanted to introduce the next week session, guys. Next week we are going to have something very special and very different. First, it's going to be on Saturday evening and not Saturday afternoon. It's going to be from 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. And the next week's session, guys, is about you. We are going to have a session on elevator pitch. For the first 15-20 minutes, we are going to help you understand what an elevator pitch is. But the next 1 hour, we are going to select top 10 participants of the recordings we have received and the recordings we are going to receive in the next 3 or 4 days, and allow them to present their elevator pitches to a august guest speakers or guest judges, if I may call them, for the next session. So for the next session, 3 judges are joining us. One is Deepak Anantakrishnan, someone who took the networking session last season. It was the highest attended session last season, and hope to see a lot of you in the next session with him. Second guest speaker is going to be Sonal, guest judge. Sonal took the session with us on conflict resolution. Session number 10 was with her. Again, very well accepted session. She's to be there again, HR director with Johnson Johnson, and is going to join us next week. And the last guest judge is going to be Charanya Kannan, who was with us last week also for growth mindset. She's going to be a judge with us next week. So we're going to have 3 judges live with us from 5 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. The top 10 participants who are going to get selected will present their elevator pitches live. That elevator pitch could be about themselves, about a business idea, about a sales pitch, about whatever they would want to. And then the top winner is going to get a lifetime mentorship from one of the judges of their choice. In fact, they can choose whom they want the lifetime mentorship from. So it's going to be fun. We have already received 35 recordings. I'm extending the participation window till the 3rd of September. We are on the 29th of August. So till the 3rd of September, you can send your recordings, your audios, or even a write-up. And based on that, we can have a conversation. And by 4th, you will know whether you have been selected in the top 10. And those top 10 get the opportunity. So guys, as always, we'll share the registration link. Others can join and learn more on how to make great, effective elevator pitches. That is something which is again very, very important in the current world. So thank you everyone. Thanks Abhishek. Again, it was wonderful having you. I hope to keep being connected with you outside this virtual world also, and maybe meet over a beer sometime soon. See you everyone.
Sure. Thank you.